Today, let's debunk large age gaps. Is it creepy or no? A lot of men are told that they peak in their 30s and 40s and beyond, that the older they get, the more attractive they're going to be to women, and that somehow the older they are, they're in the prime of their dating market years. This is nothing but a lie perpetuated by older men who, just like old bitter feminists who missed out on finding a good young man when they were young, these men missed out on finding a good woman when they were in their youth. And misery loves company. And the only way that they can go about finding a young woman, because they're too prideful to find a woman in their age range, is by having a transactional relationship with a woman half their age who is a gold digger. And this is what young men are being taught that they should aspire to, such as examples of Leonardo DiCaprio, as I have here on screen. I have had DMs from guys on Instagram. I get comments on my older YouTube videos that, bro, but as a man, when you get older and you make your money, you can get a girl half your age and be happy, bro. Look how cool this is. And this is the lifestyle that they're trying to justify. There is no love or genuine desire in these relationships. And this is something that, if you go down this path, it's just going to ruin your life. So I want to break down this article I've written here I found here on the screen, and I'm going to link it down below so that you can give it a read for yourself. Because this idea that you peak in your 30s and 40s is a lie. You peak financially in your 30s and 40s, but that doesn't mean you peak as a man in your attractiveness to find a spouse. Okay? Women that have integrity, they only look for two things. Is he a man that I find handsome? And is he a good man that's going to honor me? End of story. Guys, women do not care whether you make millions or not, unless she's a gold digger. She's transactional. A godly woman doesn't care about those things. Okay? Most men, what you need to understand is your virility, your attractiveness, your youth, it peaks in your 20s. After 25, you stop producing collagen. After 30, your sperm becomes defective. In the same way, a woman, when she gets older, her eggs start to dry up. She loses her fertility and her youth. This is why it's called Forever 21, not Forever 31. And the reality is, Leonardo DiCaprio, when he was a younger man, in his 20s, he was a handsome guy. Some women would say he was a 9 or a 10. So genetically, if he took care of himself, he's still going to age better than the average guy. But if you're the average guy who's a 6 or a 7 at most, and you don't take care of yourself, 10, 20 years from now, when you're in your 30s or 40s and beyond, you're not going to be a 6 or a 7 anymore. You're going to be a 5 or a 4. And if you think a 20-year-old woman at the peak of her beauty is thinking to herself, you know what I need to find to marry? A guy that's twice my age who's old and ugly. You have to be delusional to think that's the case. If you want a gold digger, believe that mindset. But if you actually speak to good women in their youth that are in their 20s, early 20s, mid-20s, they want a guy in a similar age range. Yes, who is also slightly older than them, perhaps by 2 to 5 to maybe 6 years, but within that age range. But he's still handsome enough to her. He's still close enough in age that they can relate and experience and bond together. What life experience can a 20 and a 50-year-old have in common? They're in different paths completely. They can't connect, they can't bond properly. Everybody knows that relationship is transactional and weird. And if you don't believe that, you're lying to yourself. So let's break this article down. Serial fornicator and societal appendix Leonardo DiCaprio, last of his name and father of none, has burned through the best and most fertile years of how many attractive young women now? Given his wealth and his status, this is one of the most low-value male behaviors possible. He could have had a legacy in a family, probably won't. He will likely never have a genetic legacy, and if he does, he'll be in a walker by the time they get married, and dead before he can even see his grandchildren grow up. If this is what you guys aspire to as a man, it's pathetic. Now, in the picture, in the original article, it was said that she was 19 and he was 49. But in reality, she was 22 and he's 45. So that was the real age gap. Even then, that's a large age gap. That is disgusting. Case in point, I asked my girl about this. Why? Because she's 20, right? And her father is 45. So her father had her when he was 23. So, and she's like, that's disgusting. This guy's old enough to be my father. It's weird. Any woman that wants a guy that old has either daddy issues or is a whore. And even she said only damaged women do this. Her and I have a 5-year age gap, right? So even she knows this is wrong. And that's just coming from a young woman at the peak of her youth and beauty. So you guys need to get this idea out of your head that a woman who's young and beautiful wants to be with an older man. It's common sense why this girl is with this guy. For a business deal, she gets a modeling agency, she gets something out of it, and it's purely transactional. Or she's really lustful and thinks, oh, I get to be with Leo. But even then, what sort of man afterwards, when she tries to find a good guy to settle down, unless he's a simp, what sort of man is going to look at this and think, why would I be with a girl who was with a man twice her age? Something's wrong with her. This is what you guys have to consider. And you guys have to start asking serious questions. Would you want your 18-year-old daughter with a man that's 25 years older than her? A man that's in his 40s? Would you want your 18-year-old daughter with a man that's 35? It's disgusting. If you don't think that, you're morally bankrupt. And the reality is these modern dating coaches, these red pillars, a lot of these guys are middle-aged men that are bitter and angry because they dedicated their life to the wrong woman, had a divorce, so they're angry. Or they only focused on career and business, and then they hit 40, 30, and they're like, I need to find a woman. But they're too prideful to find a woman in their age range, also 30s or 40s, so they think, I'll go younger, I'll go mid-20s, I'll go early 20s. And they start to realize that these girls aren't genuine. These girls only want one thing. So they build their money for that. And then they're miserable that those relationships also don't work. So then they go on the internet and tell guys that women can't love you. I mean, yeah, if you're having a 20-year age gap, what do you expect? Everybody knows this is more transactional than a bank statement. Common sense, right? So this is disgusting. And if you disagree, you need to get your morals checked out. The reason why I'm making this video is because there's young guys who watch my channel who are teens in college, in high school. And I'm telling you guys, your youth, the peak of your virility as a man is 18 to 25. The reality is, even in the military, special forces, when they train young men, who are you going to send to the battlefield? A 20-year-old man at the peak of his strength, or a 50-year-old man, the 20-year-old? The 50-year-old may be battle-hardened, and if you have the conscript the whole country and you're running out of men, fair enough. But the 50-year-old is going to be an officer or a general or doing something in logistics. He's not going to be on the front line. The older you get, you age. And you get weaker. Even if you maintain your strength, we all know this. Who's going to win in a fist fight? A 22-year-old man who trains at the gym 3 times a week, or a 75-year-old man? Where are you betting your money on? I'd put mine on the 22-year-old to smash the other guy's head in. Guys, the young lion, there's always a younger lion who comes in. He's going to be more handsome, he's going to be healthier, he's going to be stronger. And that's just the way it is. The old die and the young, the next generation grows up and they take the place of the strong. That's how it goes. You're going to age. Most men are average looking. And when they age, they're going to look like crap. So if you think and you're missing out on finding a woman in your youth, the older you get, the harder it's going to be. And you're going to look around you and all the women and all the people, friends of yours, the men, are going to be married, except you. And if you want a relationship that's genuine, humble yourself if you're an older guy. If not, fine, go find yourself a gold digger. Don't come crying to me when it's transactional. So this is creepy, right? You can have a kid if you want at 60 as a man, but when your son turns 20, you're 80 years old. You're never going to see your grandkids even hit the age of 10. So look at the comments, right? A woman responded saying, I wonder what happened to him as a young boy in Hollywood. And the original poster replied, whatever it was, he's a middle-aged big boy now, fully responsible for his own degeneracy. Let me give that a like. And it's true. But childhood trauma can jade people for life. Of course it can. But our great-grandparents and our grandparents lived tougher lives than anybody in the West has ever lived. And they got on with it. We have a crybaby generation now. This guy's a multi-millionaire. He could get the best mentors, the best coaches, the best help he could ever need. There's no excuse. Once a person turns 18, they are responsible for themselves and for dealing with whatever has happened to them. They can read books, speak to a therapist, priest, podcast, whatever, right? Retreats, therapy, you name it. Modern society has plenty of options to a millionaire, and that is the bottom line. There is no excuse. Yes, we all know what happens in Hollywood. There's elites, there's things that go on behind closed doors that I cannot mention here, or they'll ban me on YouTube. But even then, I know I'm just using him as an example, but there is normal guys who are not celebrities, who don't have this status or this wealth, and they are convinced that their best play is to waste their 20s only grinding a career and then finding a chick when they're 35, 40 plus who's half their age. That's pathetic. I mean, you're missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to find a good woman when you're young. You want her to be there when you're broke, when you're struggling financially, when you're building your career, when you're building your business. If you have a good woman, it's going to push you to grow it, work even harder. And you're going to want to do it for her because she's with you for you. And when you make your money, you're going to want to spoil her because you trust her. She's been with you when you had nothing. You know she's genuine. This whole modern cope that women wait for the guy in the finish line, gold diggers wait for the guy in the finish line. This is why a lot of these modern men are too afraid of marriage and divorce. How weak are you? What, you can't vet a woman? You can't disqualify the bad ones and find a good one for yourself? You just have a knowledge gap. Come on now, you can do it. Don't let these guys victimize you into just being single. What are you going to do from 20 to 35? Sleep around, hook up, have 5 failed relationships, but you made a lot of money and you think that's prepared you to be a husband. No, it doesn't. Being a serial fornicator, being forever alone and a lone wolf, being an individualist, it teaches you to be selfish. You cannot adjust to bonding with someone. But if you went from, let's say, your early to mid-20s, growing with a woman, going through your trials and tribulations, when you peak in your 30s and 40s and make your money, you can relax, you can appreciate each other well. You can. Even if you could make millions. You could be a millionaire at 35 or 40. But you know what? You'll never trust a woman that you marry because she came in at the end. Where was she when you were struggling? Where was she when you were building your business? She wasn't there. But instead, you could be finding a woman who is. So gentlemen, get this idea out of your head that you should only grind. Grind in your 20s, absolutely. Build a career, build a business, study, go to college, get your degree, whatever you're doing. Get your trade, whatever it is. But you know what? Do that while having a woman in your life. Your grandparents did it, your great-grandparents did it, and they all married young and had a beautiful life, statistically. You can choose the life that DiCaprio has. You can take that as your example as to be a man. It's just not going to work out for you. It's not. It's not. And it's like if you think if you think money makes a man, you're living on a different planet. There are guys out there that are flat broke, living out of a camper van or the back of their car, and they have a woman who's making good money and she's taking good care of him while he's building himself up. There are millionaires out there getting betrayed because their wife settled with them. They're getting betrayed by the pool boy, who's the same age as the wife, and she's running off with him. But the pool boy's broke. Yeah, but she's attracted to the pool boy. She's not attracted to the husband she married for money. Money can't buy love, guys. Money does not equal attraction. Jeff Bezos, the richest guy in the world, getting cheated on by his wife. She's staring at other men walking past. This guy's close to being a multi-billionaire. If you think stacking more dough is going to get you a better broad, you're lying to yourself. Most women don't want a guy with a lot of money. They just want a good man who's loyal, who's handsome, and they just want to grow with him and love him. And they're happy to live within his means. But you've got to find a woman that desires you in the first place. Because if she doesn't find you attractive, then money matters. Because it's like, he's not handsome, what can I get out of him? Money, fine, I have to settle. It has to be some type of exchange. You're better off finding a woman that actually thinks you're a handsome man, so she loves you for you, who has the same morals as you, and who's with you as you build yourself up. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's the life you want to live. You should be finding your woman when you're young, gentlemen. And when you're young, it's the only time in your life, when you're at college, at university, when you're around a concentrated pool of men and women who are single and ready to mingle. After that, most people branch off and live their life. Sure, you can still find someone when you're older. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying you can't find love later on in life. Some people are in long-term relationships, they divorce, they heal, they learn, they find someone else. I'm not talking about those exceptions. I'm talking about the standard. Young men are avoiding marriage because they think they have to. They think they can't find a good woman until they're established. No one's telling you to marry a gold digger, guys. And by you actually building yourself up and wanting to date a woman and being honest about yourself, you can disqualify all the gold diggers that don't want to sit around because you're not making your money. That's fine. Most men do not financially peak until their 40s. My father did not financially peak until his 40s or 50s. My girl's father, he didn't peak financially till his 40s. Till now. And it's like, you want a good woman that's going to be with you when you're building, when you're growing. So that as you build an established life together, she appreciates you. How can she appreciate you if she just comes in and you're sitting on your money? Guys, if you're young watching this, 18, early to mid 20s, go out there and find yourself a good girl and just start where you're at. You'll figure out the rest. And she's a feminine woman. She'll inspire you. She'll push you to be better. You will want to give her a good life. But being a hedonist, being a lone wolf, doing it all for you, it just conditions you to be selfish. And it ain't going to work out the way you think. Okay? Get that mindset out of your head, please. It just does not work. You know? This is reality. I mean, if you want to be with a chick that's half your age, fine. But there's a price that comes with that. And it's gold digging 101. Enjoy it. Because it ain't going to last. The Bible tells men and women both to marry young for a reason. Yes, women want a man who's older than them, but within a specific age range. Most women will not go over 5-6 years older than a man. It has to be close enough for them to bond. Do you think a 20-year-old woman wants a guy who's 30? No. Maybe 25, maybe 26. I have a 5-year age gap with her. My girl, it's fine. Anything more than that, even I think would be weird. Okay? If you're watching this and you're 30, if you're, let's say you're a 30-year-old woman and the man you're with is 38, that's fine. I mean, you're both over the age of 30. If you're a widow who's 45 and you meet a girl who's also single and she's 35, fine, whatever, 35 to 45, it's okay, it's more normal. I mean, you're at that age. But, you know, coming from the perspective of an 18-year-old with a 35-year-old, a 20-year-old with a 40, that's a bit weird. Come on, let's put it into perspective now. You wouldn't want your son or your daughter dating someone that's 10, 20 years older than them. Because then you have to ask questions here. If this guy like DiCaprio was so handsome, was so successful, why couldn't he find a good woman and settle down with? Oh, he could have. It's just his life choice is a reflection of who he is. He's not a husband. He's not husband material. He never has been, never was. That's why he keeps finding promiscuous women that are willing to engage with him in miserable fornication sessions, and he'll end his life like that. When you see these women that are, I'm 35 and I'm 40 and I'm single, and it's like, and she's a beautiful woman. Again, you can still look good when you're older, right? You just look at her and say, well, there's choices you've made that have made you that way. Because if you're a beautiful woman, you've had, from age 18 to 25, you could have found a good-looking, handsome guy, and you'd be living a good life with him. You just didn't want that. You didn't cash in your chips. If you're a young, handsome guy, and now you're 45-year-old bachelor, I can't find a woman. Everywhere I look, they're all taken. Yeah, there's a reason why you're single. It's not because you were just focusing on your career. You were hooking up and sleeping around. You were a porn addict, or you had other issues going on. Because human life goes by relationships. People get to a point where they take things seriously, they mature, and they try and find someone. And intelligent people do it in their youth. They do not waste their precious time. They vet seriously, and they don't waste any more time. Because once you lose the hours, the years, the months, the days, whatever you want to call it, once that time goes, you ain't getting it back. You ain't getting any younger every day. Okay, so gentlemen, your 20s is your prime time. That's when you peak in attractiveness. That is when you should be finding a woman. No less. If you're watching this in your early 30s and you're still single, let's say you're a 32-year-old guy, you can find a woman who's 28, 29, decent age gap to have a family with. But it's like, if you're past the age of 30 and you think you're entitled to a woman that's 20 or 18 years old, understand that you missed your boat. When you were 18, 19 or 20, that's when you should have been with that girl, but you didn't. Instead, for whatever reason, you wasted your youth. And any intelligent woman who's 20 doesn't want a 30-year-old man. She wants a guy who's similar to her age range so she can grow with him. Why would she waste her best years on a man who's older and wasted his? If you're an older man and you're wasting your youth, don't waste it. Wasting what's left of your youth, don't waste any more. Be humble and go out there and find someone. And that's really, that's my thoughts for this video. I wanted to just make this clear because people think they have a limited time. Oh, I can freeze my eggs, or guys like, I have a kid when I'm 60. You can go down that path if you want, but it might not go the way you think. So with that said, I'll leave the article down below. If you'd like to learn more about what I do, all the links down below to my community, to book a call with me, or send me a case study via my email, even purchase my book, all the links are there. And with that said, hope you'll have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the next one.